we will go ahead and get started. We have on our calendar a regularly scheduled business meeting for tonight, so we'll consider ourselves in order. Let's have a word of prayer as we begin, and then we'll work our way through the agenda tonight. Father in heaven, again, we thank you that we could gather as your church, as your people here, as we call ourselves Church Road Baptist. We're thankful for this gathering. We're thankful that we get to reflect your image and who you are as a body, and that you're the head. And Father, as we recognize that you're the head, Father, may we follow what you tell us to do. Just as our physical bodies do what our minds tell them to do, may you be the heart and the mind that dictates what we do as we trust you, as we follow you in faith. So Lord, as we review reports, may we be grateful for the evidence of things that you have done. And Lord, may we move forward in faith in things that we consider for the future, Lord, in the work of your kingdom here at Church Road and all around us. Lord, we love you and we ask your blessings tonight as we meet in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, we will, I'd ask you to take your packet. Does anybody need a packet? And look at the minutes there as they have been given, and they are there. Sean recorded those for us, and he was very detailed. Are you recording them again tonight, Sean? I'm going to try not to say a whole lot of words because I had to type all that stuff that I said. You're going to charge by the word. Look, man, this is off record. Don't put this in there. Joey showed me how to take a picture of it, and then it transcribed, and I thought I had it in it, but it was in all caps. And then I was like, well, I better do it another way. So anyway, I typed it, but here we are. I got you. I'll read these minutes so we can say that we have read them, because it does help bring us up to date and remind us of what we have to deal with, what we take up tonight in old business. So the minutes are as follows from April 19th meeting of the Church Road Baptist Church. The meeting was called to order by Brother J. Thomason. First item was to review the minutes of the March business meeting. Motion to accept the minutes was given and made by Tony Camarada, and second was given by Mike Webb. The minutes were approved with 100% approval. Next on the agenda was the March financial statement. The report was put together by Treasurer Marcus Mobley and Administrative Pastor Joey Taylor. The report was presented by Moderator J. Thomason in Marcus's absence. A motion was made by Ginger Cook to accept the report, and a second was made by Ryan Jensen. The report was approved with 100% approval. The Sunday School and Worship report was presented by Joey Taylor. The Sunday School average attendance from March was 60 and worship attendance was 118. Note was made that attendance was slightly down but above average. Also, the comment was made that we need to consider adding an additional Sunday school class, adult Sunday school class. Lastly, it was noted that youth Sunday school attendance has been good. Staff reports are on file in the church office. Old business to discuss involved an update on the baptistry proposal. Brother Jay had on site a borrowed example of the kind of baptismal that is being proposed that we purchased. This provided an opportunity for all to come and see. Also, Fowler Engineering came for a site visit and inspected our stage to see if it was capable of holding the weight of a filled baptistry. The inspection showed that the stage is sufficiently built for the weight of the pool. Mr. Fowler also said if there were any concerns about the weight, that we could simply add 4x4 posts under the stage at each corner where the baptistry would sit. Brother Jay shared that the motivation for the proposal was not for convenience as much, but for allowing all to participate and be encouraged. Ryan Jensen asked about the potential for privacy concerns going in and getting out. Brother Jay responded by saying that we would have a team of volunteers helping assist the candidates in and out of the pool. Brother Jay also said that we would use black t-shirts for the baptism. The next points that were made discussed the features of the borrowed baptismal pool. The example that was on hand for inspection did not have a heater or a drain. A pump was used for draining, and hot water from the kitchen was used to heat the water. The tank would need to be filled to about 60% the night before and then completed Sunday morning to have hot water. A discussion was given about changing rooms and that estimates could range from $1,000 to $1,500. The information given tonight, I wrote that in first present time, shouldn't change the tense on that. The information that was given on that night was simply for an update and note for an approval, not a vote for approval. A question was asked about the material that the baptismal was made of, and it was noted that the tub is made out of fiberglass, but that it is recommended that a gel coating be purchased for protective and longevity purposes. Brother Jay and Joey will continue to research and provide more details. On the agenda for new business, there were two items. First, Chuck Fennell presented that Bobby Riggs and Don McGehee be added to the Finance Committee. There were no questions for the committee, and the recommendation passed with a 100% vote. Chuck stated that they would be putting a sign-up list out for folks to express interest for committee work. The second item for new business was presented by Brother Jay. He shared that Brother Joey is taking a seminary class in pursuit of completing his ministry education. Brother Jay shared from Section 9 of Policy and Procedures Manual and from Section 10 that talked about professional development. These two items were cited because they are closely related to the nature of the request. It was stated that the class would cost $900 and would go towards Joey's master's degree completion, and also that it would be a great source of encouragement from the church towards Joey. Brother Ronnie Barrett asked if this needs to be announced 3 times before vote is taken. Ryan Jensen brought up asking about the number of people required to vote being 50. There was also discussion mentioned by Brother Jim Bush about 9 people just paying $100 each and being done with it. Nothing was finalized, and the motion was tabled until we verify process is followed correctly. At this point, a motion was made to close the meeting by Ryan Jensen, and a second was given by Chuck Fennell. These minutes were taken by Sean Mobley and transcribed by Jay Thomason. Any questions about the minutes as they have been given? Do we have a motion to accept the minutes from the April meeting as they have been given? You took them, you better approve them. There's a motion. Do we have a second? All right, Mr. Sean gives a motion. Mr. Chuck Fennell gives a second. All in favor of receiving these minutes as given tonight, say aye. Any opposed? All right. Next on our agenda, we have our financial report. And that is in your handout. You can review that. I'll continue to point out, as I try to do, that Marcus is very thorough in the numbers. He does a great job at letting us know where every penny has come from, where it is going, and he includes these graphs to give you a visual picture. Brother Marcus, would you like to elaborate on any specific detail? I'll say this, for layman's terms, for me, I like what I asked Joey to put this in the bulletin, and I think this helps my perspective more than anything. The value in what Brother Marcus does is if anybody had any question, we know exactly where it is. I asked Joey the other day, I said, what's wrong with you? He said, Marcus wants me to find $1. I said, here. He goes, it don't work like that. So that's a good thing. We know where things are. And so, but the layman's terms are this. Our needs for the month of May are $28,332. To date, we have received $6,935, and we have also to date what we need as far as recording. We have 6,538 recorded. Then you could look at it from a perspective of year-to-date needs are $119,865, and year-to-date income is $115,703. So if you're looking at it on a monthly deal, there we're $4,000 behind budget. But again, I remind you that there are times of year where giving is a lot more, and then there's giving where it's not less. And also I'll remind you that the budget is not consistently used every month at the same time. We don't use Vacation Bible School money in December, but it's a big expense May, June, because that's when we use it. So those things help keep things in perspective, but it helps me just to kind of see right there, year to date, it's what we need, this is what we got. So that's where we are. Any other thoughts or clarifications or comments? Did you find the dollar, Joey? He did find the dollar. Amen. So everything is all above board. That's good stuff. All right. Thank you, Joey and Marcus, for your diligence to present this report. Do we have a motion to accept the report as it's given? Y'all are still looking at it. Okay. That's the theme for tonight. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Okay. We got Brother Terry Harden and made a second. Is there any question about the report? All right. No questions. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of receiving the financial statement for April as it has been given, please say aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you again, Marcus and Joey, for that. Next, we have our Sunday School and Worship report, and I'm going to ask Brother Joey to come and share that with us.
All right, real quick. The average Sunday school attendance for April was 64, and average morning worship was 132. That was a month we had Easter in, so Easter Sunday we had 186 in attendance, which is a great a great piece of news. So that was good to see the church full. A lot of people, like Brother Jay said, people that everybody was here that Sunday morning, so it was good to see everybody in attendance that morning. Again, Sunday school attendance is been pretty consistent. Morning worship is kind of funny. Me and Jay look out there, and it looks like we didn't have anybody here, and then they're counting. We got 140. And the next week we look, and there's like, it's full. Was 100. It's like, so I don't know if our eyes need checked or they need to count better. I don't know, but yeah, about it. We're attendance is looking good, so, and encouraging.
All right. All in favor of receiving that report as given? Do we have a motion to receive the report? We got a motion. We have a second right here. All right. Ms. Pam made the motion, and Brother Bobby made the second. Do we have any question about the report? All right. All in favor of receiving that report, say aye. Any opposed? All right. Off the record, Sean, so he can catch up while he's writing. It's interesting. We had 186 on Easter Sunday. Guess how many we had the next Sunday? 105. I told them. But then the next week, or a couple weeks after that, we had 140. So it's really good. You know, we're inching that way slowly but surely. More people are coming, and there'll be something in the staff report here. That is what's next. So Joey, if you would share the music and administration staff report.
All right. Dear church family, here we are again. It seems like this year is flying by, and the dreaded heat and humidity of summer is already upon us. In church, I promise I'll do my best not to freeze everybody out. Not making any promises, but I'll try. There you go. Bring blankets. And it's a lot hotter up there, so if you're cold, just join the choir. April 23rd, we had our second quarterly choir dinner. About 20 people attended. We're always looking for people to serve in our choir and music ministry, and a great way to invite new people is by ratting on your friends. So if you hear one of your friends singing around you, or you know that they secretly play an instrument, let me know. I would love to talk to them. So please rat on your friends. They need to be serving. Lauren and I have been working with the kids on Wednesday night, teaching them a song that they'll be sharing with us this Sunday. The song is called I Am Not My Own. It teaches that we as Christians have been adopted into the family of God and purchased by the blood of Christ. Therefore, we no longer belong to ourselves, but rather to God, and should live our lives for Him. Also, want to inform you of an event coming up on June 28th. We'll have a special night of worship titled Hymns of the Church. This is an opportunity for you to pick some of your favorite hymns for us to sing together. We will have a time during the service for you to request songs, but also want to have some prepared songs because I don't sight read well, and help out our pianist also. So I do want to have a time where you can pre-request songs. So there'll be some cards and a hymnal by the bulletin board starting in June where you can request songs, and this is important. I want you to share a little bit about why you enjoy them. Lastly, I want to take a moment to thank those who donated to help cover part of my tuition for school. It means a lot to me that you're willing to invest in me to grow and fulfill the calling God has given me to serve this church through the songs we sing.
Hello, church family. As the old saying goes, time flies when you're having fun. It's hard to believe that our firstborn will graduate high school this coming Sunday afternoon. As the father of a graduate and your pastor, I want to say thank you for the loving encouragement that you extended on Senior Recognition Sunday to our son and all the other students who have reached this special milestone in their lives. It goes a long way towards helping them find their way to the church during college and as they settle in their future years. Over the past month, we have welcomed several new church members into our faith family. What a joy it is to see growth. Joey told me that there was a family this past Sunday who sat in front of Ryan Jensen during the worship service. They commented on his singing and how they liked it, but asked him, "Aren't you normally in the choir?" And Ryan responded, "Yes," as they commented that they thought so because they've been watching our services for some time online. They said, "We reserved this seat to sit by you next week." So I'm going to stop there for a second and give a plug for our online ministry. And you guys running the cameras back there and the dollars that we have spent. I haven't thought this angle, but that's a great way that people may be visiting our church, is finding us online and looking at us before they ever even come in here. And so I think it bodes well of our TV, our online ministry, that they watched several weeks and then they came and they said they'd be back. So thank you, Joey, for your vision to do that and for you guys willing to serve back there. Just, you never know who's watching and how the Lord's using that. So I wanted to put that in there. Let me take this opportunity to, this is the third paragraph of my report. Let me take this opportunity to remind you of a few things on our summer schedule. Vacation Bible School is coming in June. Now's the time to be asking Lauren Taylor how you can help. Please don't underestimate how much your presence matters. Register today if you have not already. If you don't have any children, invite some to come. Also, I would ask that you be in prayer for our group that will be going to youth camp June 5th through the 8th. We have a bus full registered to go. Don't forget that we start Summer Fun Fellowships next Wednesday evening. Our first fellowship is being hosted by the choir and praise team. We'll have hot dogs, chips, and a drink, followed by a devotion and putt-putt golf right here. It's going to be awesome. May the best one win. God's blessings be with y'all, your pastor, Brother Jay. All right. Those are our staff reports. The next item of business that we will go to is old business, and that brings us to the baptistry proposal. We have talked about this the past two meetings. Last meeting, as I mentioned in the minutes, we had one on hand. Since then, we've had a baptism to kind of show you what it would look like. Now, I think the remaining questions, you may have some that we have tried to answer, is how much is it going to cost? Where can we get it? How would we get it delivered? We have looked into those, and some of our proposal has changed, which is a good thing, for less money since we had practiced with the one before. One, we don't feel at this time that there's any need to remodel for dressing rooms. We were able, if you didn't see, we were able to do a temporary type style changing room inside of the choir room that didn't cause any kind of deal. We put a pipe up top where we could run a shower curtain around. We were able to provide chairs and towels and everything we needed, and we might have spent $100 on that, $150 at the most, maybe, I don't know, getting towels and stuff like that for baptismal. And we've seen how we could use that same design for several more in the future if we need to do that. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. As far as the baptistry goes, it's one of these things where you can pick as many options as you want. The baptismal that we used this past time, we thought, hey, it worked really good. We'll look for something similar to that. So I have found one online, and what you do is you find a base, and then you add the options that you think you would need. And so the one that I picked out, because I think we've got some people that could help us, would be willing to help us with some of the features that we need, and it would be a lot cheaper, is they have the baptismal pool with no drain or heater put in it, just like what we used this past time. And it is on the frame that they put them on, but there's no furniture grade plywood around it, and it hasn't been stained. That's a big cost. So we cut that cost out because we figure we can do better doing that ourselves with some help. Then I added the cost to put a gel coat protection, which they recommend that you do on fiberglass for longevity to prevent it from bubbling and leaking. We also have a delivery fee of $6.95. I did talk to Sean about that possibility, and he was just kind of curious of where it would be, and I'm not sure if they've got guys going down that way or not. But so the fee to get it delivered here is $6.95, and they would schedule with us. We would have some guys here to help us get it unwrapped and off the truck, and we can get it put in here. But basically, I took it down to get it here. We'd still have some work to do once it got here, but we would be in control of the price on that. We were looking with dressing rooms and baptistry at first, we were looking at about $10,000, I think. Now we're looking at $3,270. We would still need to buy what they call it, a sump pump. Is that how you say it? That's what we used last time, and in like 3 minutes that thing was drained. It was gone. And we just ran the hose out the back door, and it worked great. We would need that. We would need some people to volunteer to fill it up and to help us. I mean, usually got those kind of people anyway. We have a submergible heater that's for the other baptistry that we could most likely use here. I'll be honest, it looks like I just didn't want to fool with it. I've never used it. I need somebody that's used one before. I just didn't know I don't know if it had a GFI on it to keep from getting electrocuted or whatever. When you think sticking an electric rod in water, I'm a little hesitant. So we have that. We could use it if we needed to. So we'd have a few more items, honestly, that I have not priced that we would need to get. But to get the baptistry here, the main part that we can't really do on our own anywhere else would be $3,270. And at this time, the appropriate way to do this would be, do we have a motion and a second to vote on getting the baptistry? And then would there be any questions, and we could determine if we need to do more work and research. But our goal, we've done as much as we can to try to lower the cost, but still to have the quality that we need. That would also come with the fiberglass steps as well. We would probably need some assistance, maybe getting a handrail made like we had, and not putting any pressure on Brother Terry Harden, but I think he knows how to work with metal. And Ryan Jensen, I think, knows how to get a hold of good wood that we might could cover it with. And I'll stain it for $250. That's half of what they wanted to stain it. So, but no, so I think we could save some money doing some things that we know how to do, but we're spending money on things that are beyond our capability at this point. So I think we've got the price down to about as low as we can get it, minus the things that we'll have to get on our own. So do we have a motion? Brother Terry makes a motion. Do we have a second? All right, Brother Andy. Do we have any questions? Miss Pam. That's a good question to ask. I think I read 5 years somewhere. Would have to look and see. Um, well, they have those for sale in here. That they do recommend that you can use those as an option. They're right here, like 120 volt immersion heater with the GFCI. That's where it'll flip the breaker. That's $645. And then you can get one with no G. I don't want to use it without a GFCI for $625. You could do a combo that's a removable heat and pump for $785. But the wattage is 120 volts. Let me see if I've got the specs on. You're talking about the wattage for the heater, okay? So if it gives, there's a picture. I would have to look online to see if that's listed. Is there a recommendation that you have with your background in electricity? Well, see, that's if we were to buy it. We're not buying that. We've got a heater over there, and if you want to help me look at it, since you're an electric guy, that'd be great. It's a 220? I got you. So I don't know if we've got we have 220 going to the stoves in here. We might could tap in a breaker or another. I put a cord somewhere over there. But honestly, we didn't use any kind of electric heat last time. We used just hot water from the sink, and it was sufficient. Mr. Jim said he didn't get cold till he got out, and that's just that's Joey with the air conditioner. That's right. No. Now that's where you guys help wrap up with some towels and everything. Warranty, I do believe there's some type of warranty. Of course, you void it if you do, like you said, crazy things with it. But there shouldn't be, unless somebody were to drop it and crack it that way, then I don't see any problems with it. Again, it's a piece with nothing. It's just a tub, a fiberglass tub. So I don't know if that's a sufficient answer or not, but I do believe that it is capable of designed to use the heat. One plus is that there's no drain. There's no penetration in the tank where it won't leak. So we'll have to pump the water out. But with that sump pump, it was gone like that. Before, church, we didn't have to wait on it hardly any time. Any other questions? Brother Marcus. Well, I don't know how much. It depends on how much materials are for welding. That's what I'm saying. Those are uncontrollable. Those are controlled costs that we feel like we have relationships with. If we can make that heater work, we could use it. We would need stain, a can of stain or something from Lowe's, however much the materials cost. But I don't see it costing $500 for stain. I don't see it costing, for the handrail or whatever we want to add to it. I think we need to put something to dress it up. If you want to get technical about it, we could put a skirt around it, a cloth skirt, and you wouldn't even have to do any kind of woodwork, to it. It would be good to have a cart. They want $140 for casters to go up on it for wheels. I don't think we have to spend that much to get some. We could put our own casters on it and save some money. So I don't see it. No, we don't need. I'm actually recommending that we don't have to do any dressing rooms. I don't know if you got to see or not what we did back here, but it worked great, sir. Well, you come back and check it out. I mean, we could set it up in 5 minutes and take it down, and it's kind of like ServPro, like it never even happened. It worked out great. So I was proud of it. I was dragging everybody I could in there and said, "Look what we did. This is cool." So we wouldn't have to worry about dressing rooms. And if we had some type of revival, we're baptizing a lot of people, dressing rooms aren't going to accommodate that anyway. We're still going to have to get creative and just have a big baptismal service. And, so I think that's some money we can save there. Pricing wise, I don't see it, $500, is that ignorant to say? Is that too much? Is that, I don't know. Because if Ryan can get us some good stuff, I don't want to use cheap materials. I was counting on thinking Ryan has access to that. Brother Terry knows about metal, so I was going to lean on them for some of those materials. We could. Not to go over that cost, and hopefully it won't do that. Gotcha. Sounds good. So we would amend the motion then from, there's a recommendation to amend the motion from $3,270 to just a $4,000 even to cover all the cost for the baptistry to keep that budget at or below that cost. Yeah, I think I understand. That's a good point. Thank you for helping with that. So that gives us some, as they say, wiggle room to get it fixed and how we want to do that. Brother Tony. No, what I'm saying is we could drop their supply there, and we could tap in maybe to that. Since the ovens aren't pulling 220 at the time, I don't know. There's electrical panel behind the door. I got you. Now I wouldn't think those are wall. It would be hard to pull out. But what I'm saying is we have access to. We could drop a line off of that maybe to supply. Is what I was thinking. Now I'm not an electrician, so y'all correct me. That's him. We got the electrician. You don't know? Yeah, he conveniently don't. I don't know. That's right. You can Mike Webb's one. You can throw him under the bus. He ain't here. We can get old Mike. So anyway, all right. So do we have? I'm not sure exactly how you present this, but I can do it the safe way. Do we have a motion to accept the proposal as amended by Brother Andy? Brother Terry makes a motion. Do we have a second? Our brother Tony, do we have any questions? So the proposal is that we purchase this baptistry, this plain baptistry with no penetrations, none of the extra equipment, that the cost is $3,270, but given a budget of $4,000 to be able to complete the rest of the work that we need on that. All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor of this, say aye. We have a question. Do we have enough people here? Good point. We do. And I can explain that in just a moment because that's the next item of business. All right. All in favor of this, say aye. Any opposed? All right, good deal. Motion carries for that, and we'll work on getting that. The next item of old business is listed as recommendation and request. As you know, last month I brought and I asked about Brother Joey's seminary class and asked if we could, as a gesture of the church to encourage him in continuing his education, if we could pay $900 for his class. And so the question was brought up, do we need to announce this vote in three different meetings, or have three announcements before we vote on this? And I felt that I knew the answer, but I didn't have it readily right there in front of me. But we have found that answer, and I will share that with you, and I think it will give clarity to Brother Juck's question about the last one. So before we proceed with that, I want to answer the questions from the last meeting. So whenever we have, the question is this: what's a quorum? A quorum is having enough people to vote to take care of business. So this is what our Constitution and bylaws say on Article 6 under business, number 2, quorum. The voting members present at a regular business meeting or at a special call business meeting where routine matters are to be considered shall constitute a quorum. So this is a regular business meeting, and this is a regular item, so you represent a quorum. okay? The question comes in the next sentence. The quorum for a special called business meeting. That is where you're voting on a pastor or a staff member, or heaven forbid somebody did something awful and y'all needed to fire somebody or something like that, that then you're going to need to announce it. You can deal with those things. But this is considered a regular scheduled business meeting. It's on a routine. We monthly meet. Everybody knows. Basically, everyone has had fair opportunity to know we're going to meet, and they have the opportunity to come and participate in the discussion. That we're not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to slip something under the radar. We're not trying to avoid anything. There's nothing to hide here. So that's what we are presenting. But it does say where important matters of business are to be considered. That language leaves a lot of loopholes for interpretation. But that is only if you do it like that, if you read it like that, for a special call business meeting. So the special call business meeting would most likely mean that it is an important matter. Because we're having routine meetings, there's no need for an emergency. If we just, every time somebody had something and we had a meeting, that's all we would do is meet. So that's why we have a schedule, that's why we stick to it, and that's why we build an agenda where there's no surprises. But it says that if we were to have a special meeting, as you voted for a pastor, that it would be 50 people. Now, we can discuss this later, and I'll just give you this example as a reason why we need to discuss this later is, what if something were to happen and we weren't even running 50 people in the church? Does that mean we can't vote? Well, if you want to be letter of the law kind of person, that's the way it reads, so we will need to adjust that. And it could simply be fixed by saying 50% of last quarter's Sunday school attendance, or 50% of last quarter's worship attendance, however you want to do that. That way, if that number was actually lower, it's a percentage instead of just a number of people. Because what if you flipped it on the other end and we're running 1,000 people, but and say there was a crazy group of people that wanted to come in and they got together and it was a clandestine deal and they wanted to sell the church. So you're going to let 50 people outweigh 950 other people? No. So the percentage helps keep it, doable like that. So, but we'll need to do what the bylaws call, we'll need to develop an ad hoc committee to review that and to present that to be appropriate. The appropriate way to go that. But as far as our concerns are tonight, the answer to the question is we do not have to announce this 3 times. And this is a regular business meeting, and this is a regular matter of business, so we can vote on the church approving to pay for this expense for Joey. Let me make another statement here, and this is more by way of educational point. I had someone come to me and say, Brother Jay, I know that there were some people getting some money together to help pay for Joey's class. Is that something I can do? I said, well, wait a minute. I said, I don't know who gave, and I think the amount was $300. Is that right, Joey? And I said, I appreciate those people's heart. But the reason that we want the church to do this is because that's why we give anyway. And if we have some extra and we can do that, then everybody, as you vote and as you give, everybody's got a chance to participate. The person that came to me said, well, I want to participate, and I feel I want to be in on that, and that could hurt somebody's feelings if these other people got to, and I didn't get the opportunity. And I said, well, I understand. So that's why it's important that we do things as a church. I appreciate the heart and the people that gave that money to make that happen. But as best we can, it's always good if we can give the church the opportunity to do it together. Does that make sense? I had a large gift given one time at the church to purchase a new metal roof for the whole thing. And they wanted to just pay. This was at a church in a faraway land a long, long time ago. But I said, I appreciate your gift, and with fear and trembling, not wanting to mess this up, I said, I really appreciate it, and I believe the church will be excited, but we need to vote to receive this gift as a church. and I was hoping they wouldn't be offended, and they weren't. We gave the church a voice. Also, it educated the church to know somebody's generosity, what they were doing, and so we operate together as a church, okay? And that's the way we try to do things here. So, with that said, we've answered the question. The question was how many times we have to announce it. If it's a regular meeting, we don't have to announce it. The meeting has been announced. It's on a continual rotation. And then the quorum question has been answered. Ryan Jensen asked about the quorum. You constitute by being here a quorum for regular business. So those are the two questions that were asked, and they've been answered. So we bring as old business tonight the $600 remaining balance. I would like to ask if we could have a motion to pay for that part of Joey's tuition for this class. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got you. Sure, 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 sure. I got you. In the future, once our committees are all approved, that's something that we can, all of this stuff, we can go through committees and they can discuss it and present it that way. But while we're waiting to get approval and get committees together, we want to be able to continue to move ministry forward. So that's why we're having to present it in this nature. But those are personnel benefits, if you will, that could be considered for future consideration for other classes, maybe. Some of those things. We just have to look at it in a budget mindset and how we want to do that. But we need a motion and we need a second, and then we can have question if we want to entertain the motion. But I appreciate the point. We have a motion to pay $600 for this class. Do we have a second? We have a second. All right. Do we have any other questions? Got one question.
Are we going to let the church announce to the church that, hey, if you want to donate, feel free?
No, so well, that's what we would do now, is that it would come out of our non-budgeted items. So out of the surplus that we have is what we do. Now, if somebody wanted to designate a gift to that, I think they could. You can't, you know.
You had mentioned something about the other person saying they wanted to contribute.
Sure, sure. And what I was trying to say is you do contribute. As you give to the church, it's contributing. But at the same time, I know you don't want to, as they say, you don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. If somebody wants to give you something, you let them give it. But the principle that we all are giving as we give is that as well. But if someone wants to give specifically to offset the cost of coming out of non-budgeted items, then certainly we can do that. Any other questions?
Could that be handled for, like, say, you do the love offering for Joey?
I address that after the meeting, and I'll be real quick. Just afterwards, I'll share something on
I got you. Well, the precedent that we set with love offerings, we have to be careful. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, sure. You can, but you have to be very careful about, as a church leadership, we have to be careful, because what if we said we would take a love offering up for this, but then somebody else said, well, hey, so-and-so over here needs a love offering, and we said, well, we can't do that. Then it becomes, well, they didn't do that for this, they did this, you know. It could cause problems, so we have to be careful about the precedent that we set. But with staff people here, and I'll say this, I'm not in any school right now. But if it hadn't been for my church and for other churches helping me go to school, I don't know how I'd have done it. You know, it was just a blessing. And the deal is, as we invest in him, we get the blessing by them being here with us. And so, anyway, that's what I hoped for, is that we could invest where God is at work. God is at work in Joey, and we're reaping the benefits of his training. So, but that's a great point. And I hope that my answer was not offensive in the way that I said. Yeah, we just had to, but sure.
I didn't know, so I just figured I'd.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
But thank you. Any other questions? All right. We have a motion. We have a second. No more questions. All in favor of paying the balance, that $600 balance for Joey's class that he's taken, say aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you very much for that. So that covers our old business, and now we are moving on to new business. I listed Mr. Chuck for nominating committee in hopes that we could get it. We got one more person that we're trying to get to that we've got to ask about serving, and then we'll be able to present that next time. The next item, so we will not have any presentation from, unless he's got something I don't know about that you want to present. Okay, we're good. All right, the next item is security camera proposal. Brother Joey's going to bring that.
All right. So I've written this out here. Several people have asked about the condition of our security cameras not working. If you've gone in there, you'll notice there's about 6 of them that don't have a signal. We've had issues with several of the cameras losing signal for the last few years. Our current providers are unable to completely resolve the issue. So with that, I've looked at several companies to try and give us a quote to get our current system repaired or to get a new system. I've received one quote so far, which I have it attached to this packet, and that is to get our current system, to get a new system put into for our security cameras. Another one, I have not heard. They were supposed to contact me by yesterday. They have not contacted me back. So, and then also another one that was recommended to me by several people. I went online and their website was unorganized. They had links on their website that were wrong or they didn't work. So I didn't attempt to contact them because the security cameras are a IT network, and if they're not getting their website well, I don't want to trust that with our cameras either. So the proposal I received, I attached to the packet, and it includes a turnkey installation of upgrading our system so we can have added security and protection not only for our building, but also to our children and youth and those who work with them. The new system will add cameras to our nursery and toddler rooms, plus the youth and children halls. They'll connect both of our buildings together with a fiber network cable. And what this will do is clean up all the cables running over the walkway outside to just a single cable that will run underground from this building to the other building to a network system that will be in both buildings. This cleans up our infrastructure, and it eliminates signal loss that can come from running long cables from here all the way out to there or out to the front of that building over there. This camera company that gave us the quote was recommended by Marcus Mobley, and they had a team here that same day that I contacted them to look at what we needed. Very professional, and they emphasized doing things the right way and offered to donate some of the material to the church. So that's one reason I'm going ahead and presenting them before I get some of the quotes. And also, I didn't put it in there. I contacted Marcus gave me another company. They wanted $150 an hour just to come out and look at it. So and that was not included on there. So I think yes.
So that comes from Joey being our administrative pastor, if you will. In that title, he works over our administration, and he's presented this. Do we have a motion? Again, we need a motion and a second, then we can discuss. And if we need to table for any reason, we can, but we need to decide if this is something we want to take up in discussion. You'll notice I'll draw your attention to the last page. The total is $22,110. The products, I guess that would be equipment, $15,610, and then $6,500 for the work to install it. And that does not, I'll note that that does not include, I think, a $750 fee for trenching the wire. They said that's something that we could do, and I told Joey, I'm not doing that. I'm not cutting a cable, that's on, I don't want that liability on us or anybody here. If you cut a cable that we don't know about, it could be a gas line, electric, if it's a phone line, then the phone company charges you so much for being down. I might trust Mr. Paul Atwood to do it, but he doesn't have access to the equipment he used to have when he worked for the phone company. So I'm not interested in that savings. So I saw a hand. We can. I just don't. Sure. It just makes me nervous. I personally, I think if they can assume the liability and not me if we miss something, or I don't know. Anyway, but I'm with you, man. I like watching that stuff work. It's amazing how they can get it done. Well, that's what I'm saying. Till it's. Well, they're licensed and bonded and insured and all that for if they do mess up another company's utility or something else. So. I'll clarify also, if you're still thinking, if somebody wants to make a motion on it, the question's been asked is if you go in the office or if you're working, especially the people who work security, you'll see our TV in there that gives us access to all our cameras, and I'm not sure how many it is, but a significant amount of them are just blacked out. And we look back in the minutes, this was 2018, what we saw, when it was initially put in, and they've had trouble with some of the cameras ever since, and they've sent them back, and they've put them in, they sent them back, same problem, and basically the answer was for the people who put that in was, we don't know what else to do. And so some of them honestly have not been right for very long after they were installed some 5 years ago. So I don't know of any other information to share.
Again, this is also something. It's future proofing, so it's not just for the security cameras. It's also looking at the future, adding this infrastructure, like connecting both of our buildings where you don't have to run a cable from over here to over there. It's already set, and there's a network in that building where we can kind of have the center, kind of a center home station over there too. So it's a future proofing upgrade.
It's kind of like putting new tires on the car. They just cost a lot more. But. Yes, ma'am. You can. Or you make a motion and we need a second. You work security. I got you. Do I have a second? We have a second. All right. Questions? Brother Marcus.
I've got one. They were supposed to contact me by yesterday. Not heard back from them.
Just based on the amount, do we want to get at least one more quote?
We can.
It might be any cheaper.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
at least now you have something to compare to.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Before we vote, let's see.
Yeah. I went ahead and wanted to bring it out tonight. First off, this company was very professional, very they were really emphasizing getting it done the right way, cleaning up. They were seeing problems that we've had from the installation in the past with our cameras and offering solutions to get that fixed. But So that one of the reasons why I went ahead and presented it, but we can definitely wait. And if you have recommendations of companies that do this, please let me know, because
I
the
asked
people
about
I've tried.
ADT. I don't know if they do that, but we can definitely.
That's one I'm waiting on.
Oh, is it? I
Yeah.
got you.
Did they say what they would donate?
So they said if they had enough of the fiber cable to run from this building to that building, they would donate that. Pretty much any of that material they have in the
Stuff they have already.
in their warehouse, and that they would be able to donate it. But
So it'd be, instead of $8,000, it'd be $6,000
It-
maybe.
it could be a couple $100 cheaper. It depends on the.
What they got.
All right. Well, I think with that, we'll table that discussion until we get at least one more. I would say 2 or 3 more to make us feel good about what we're looking at. And so we'll consider that tabled, and that brings us to the end of our meeting agenda tonight. And so, do we have a motion to adjourn from our meeting, Brother Chuck? We have a second. Brother, you're free. I got you. I like it. All in favor of adjourning from this business meeting, say aye. All right. We will adjourn from our meeting. I will say this. We announced, look at that, 7:30 on the head. The only thing I'm worried about is I never saw Sean's eyes the whole time. He's writing. I'm going to have a long report. He got it covered, though. We had mentioned, and I talked to different ones and recommended, I believe that we still need to have our business meeting next month, even though it's summertime. We will try to keep it as brief as possible, but we need to meet. There just continues to be some needs to meet. I hope that in the future, as we get some of these things done, a lot of churches go to quarterly meetings, and it's not, it just works good. But right now, we've got so many things that we're trying to do. With me being new, we're trying to get up and going that I think we need to have another meeting, just keep for next month. So not a special call meeting, but it will continue to be regular scheduled time for next month, and we'll do that, and we'll work on these proposals. So, all right, it's time to go. I will, Brother Marcus.
I want to address Tiffany's question.
Okay.
I don't want to be on the record.
Okay, off the record. I got you. I didn't hear nobody say that.
I want to try to explain to everybody what a little issue is. There's nothing wrong with a love offering at all. The problem, especially when you're dealing with a staff member, is they're paid staff. And from the IRS standpoint, we all get a tax deduction when we donate to the church. But we're donating to the church, and there's no strings attached. The church uses that money however they want. When we start telling the church, this is what you do with my money, it may not be considered a donation. That could be a problem for you, and it could be a problem for the church.
Sure.
So when you have a love offering, you just need to say, hey, we got a family that has a need. If you want to give to it, give, and you write love offering. And then the church does with it what they choose. When you start talking about a staff member, now you are saying, is that compensation?
Is it taxable income?
And if I say, hey, I want to give $500 to Brother Joey to go to school, technically, I'm giving that money to Joey. There's nothing wrong if I give that money to Joey outside the door. But when I want to claim that on my taxes, that's a problem.
Sure.
So just keep that in mind. If you want to do that, write staff education on there. There's a line item in the budget for that. Then the church decides who it gets used on, not the person giving it. So there could be issues.
Well, you don't want it could be considered. There's certain ways that people do that, and it would be considered money laundering, trying to run it through and get a tax. But
Money laundering, tax evasion.
another thing is,
Tax avoidance.
y'all wouldn't. Hey,
Tax evasion.
that's right. Y'all wouldn't believe the stories that they used to teach us in seminary about this stuff. I had classes on this stuff, and there was one where a guy was on the accounting committee, and what he was doing was all the cash. I'll just make it easy. He was taking the cash and then he would write a check. Well, then he was taking that check and claiming it like it was his giving, and he got away with it for a long time. And then guess what happened? He got busted, and I think he went to prison over it. So.
One other thing I want to clarify, Brother Andy's correct. We have paid for staff education. I think that's a good thing to do. With Brother Lee, we did that to a point, and what we just need to keep in mind as a church is, what are they going to school for?
Sure.
If Brother Joy says, I want to go to school to be a biologist, he's not going to help the church out a whole lot, so he needs to pay for that.
That's right.
So it needs to be ministry related before we can really say it's worth us paying for it.
And I would add to what you were saying about the tax thing too. If it was an individual gift, the best way to handle that would be for you not to write the check to Joey, but to find out who to make it payable to at the school, where it would go to his account, and then the money never touches his hands. But
That doesn't matter.
it does, you know.
From a personal standpoint,
I got you.
you can give an individual anything you want.
I got you.
Now, if you give them more than $15,000,
Yeah.
you're going to pay taxes on it, not the person giving it. But that's a whole different issue.
I got you.
If you want to figure it out, give me 15,000. I'll show you how it happens.
I got you. I got you. Well, that's the beauty of having Brother Marcus with his background in accounting, is to keep us out of trouble, and that's what we want. We don't want to do anything. We're not trying to get around anything. But there are what we're trying to. I think what we're saying here is there's correct ways to do it, where everybody is okay, and we don't want to be a burden to him. We don't want a blessing to turn into a burden, and that happens a lot sometimes. People mean well. Hey, I'm gonna give you this house. Oh, I appreciate it. Well, I had to spend $50,000 to get it livable, but that's, anyway, nobody's giving me a house, but we're done. If y'all, no, we need to pray. Oh, you got an announcement. All right, we got to make an announcement, and we'll pray, and then we'll be done.
Real quick, next week we're gonna have our putt-putt fellowship inside here. The goal is we're gonna have
A nine-hole
course inside the sanctuary. It's going to be a good time, but if you play golf and have some extra putters or extra balls, we would be appreciative if you let us borrow them, and we'll try not to tear them up.
We're not in a driving range. We're not chipping. We're putting.
Yeah, putt.
Putt.
Yeah.
It will be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun. We're getting excited about planning that. So if you got a putter, bring it on. Any other announcements or things we need to share? All right. We will have some food next week too, like regular supper time, so y'all come. We'll try to keep that announced week to week. I think we're planning on doing some hot dogs and something simple, but we'll have a devotional. We'll have time together in the Word. Make sure we share. We will keep an updated prayer sheet, but we won't go into a long prayer time. What we'll do is ask you to turn in prayer requests if you have them written down, turned in, so we can get them updated on the prayer sheet. And we're going to enjoy some summertime fellowships, and feel free to invite some folks. Anything else? All right, well, let's have a word of prayer, and we will be dismissed. I'm going to ask Brother Chuck, if you don't mind, if you dismiss us in prayer.